Okay guys, so last time I showed you how to upholster one of the seats and the ottoman. So this time I'm going to go ahead and show you how to upholster an armchair. Okay, so you have the arm on the chair, whether it's on the right or the left, you'll do the same thing, only you'll just reverse it. Alright, you need to go ahead and get yourself some very thin foam, like this, and you want to cut it to fit completely around. Now you can cut the foam in one section, or you can use what you have and cut it in a couple of sections. It doesn't matter because it's going to be underneath. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the front piece, because that part is what does need to be one piece. I'm going to just kind of push it right over here like this, leaving this part just a small piece. Alright, next thing I'm going to do is kind of go over to the side here. Try not to have it thick when you do the hot glue. And then you want to hold that down like that. Don't put pressure on it, just hold it gently. Once it's dry or cooled down, then you want to do the same thing to the back. Make sure to get this edge. And you don't need a lot of this, just enough. Okay. Now, normally I would do this in one piece, but like I said, I don't want to waste the foam that I have. Alright. So then you want to come over here. You need to make sure you have your arm right there, and then cut right along this part, and then take that little tiny section off, okay? Now you want to come down to the bottom. You want to cut that, and then cut it even with this. Apply some glue right to that. I'm going to use my scissors to help hold it down. Just like this. You can come back to the edge and trim it up if you need to get anything that's hanging up above the wood. Alright, now the next step I'm going to do, so I'm going to glue this little piece of foam right here. Just like that. Okay, now you see I still have this and this. Now, like I said, normally I would do this as one piece, but I did not do that because I wanted to use what I had rather than wasting it. So now at this point, I'm going to glue this piece here. Just like that, and press it down. Okay, and you can leave this taller if you want, but I knew I was going to have to put this here, so I just went ahead and cut it off when I did it, just because it wasn't long enough anyway. Okay, so now I'm going to wrap this around right across this top piece here. Okay. Trim off that excess. And then you want to come over to this side. Use your micro tip scissors if you have to. And you want to glue that in there, just like that, and hold it there. Okay, so now you want to cut this corner right here, and then you want to go along this edge, and you want to trim that off, and then go right along this edge and trim that off. just like that. Okay, now you should have this piece here, and then you should have this piece here left. Over on this side, you're going to trim it straight down, and on this side, you're going to trim it straight down, just like that. Okay, and then you can come back to it, and you can trim it even if you need to, if it wasn't quite even when you went over it the first time. Just like that, okay? Now, right here, I'm noticing there's a little bit of hot glue sticking out that's making it hard, so I need to cut that off. Otherwise, it will make the fabric look rough at that area. All right, so now, at this point, you can leave it just like this, or you can take one or two of these that you have, and you can line them up underneath of there to make a higher arm. It's completely up to you, and it would make it more round if you do it like that. Okay, so I'm going to take the two because I actually kind of like it like that, and I'm going to glue them on there. Very lightly put one, and then I'm going to go do the next one. Now this is just the 1/8 inch thick foam, okay, and then very lightly again, do not make it bulky or gaudy because it won't work, okay, and then you want to fold that over, and then at this point you want to cut straight along this inner edge, just like that, okay, and then you want to put some glue right in here to kind of help hold all that in. Okay, don't have it gaudy or bulky. You don't need a lot of it. Okay. And then just kind of pull that edge over. Don't burn yourself in the process. Hot glue is very hot. You can take this here and just snip it off once you have it all on there. And then you'll have an arm that's kind of rounded right there, instead of being just square. Okay, the top edge, if you need to, you can thin that up, just like that. And then all of this should be even. If you feel any harshness, you need to cut that off before you put your fabric on there. But that's what it should look like, and then right here you need to put a piece as well. Okay, so now you want to just go ahead and put a very thin layer of glue on the back of your cushion. Put it directly in the middle of your fabric. Then you want to take and cut to the corners. Just like that. Once you have it cut so that you don't see the ends, you want to do it just like this. Fold that in just like that. Cut that edge off. Just like that. And make sure you're gluing the right section on first, because if not, you'll end up having that messed up. Okay, do the same thing for this side. I'm going to go ahead and put some glue right along the edge, right along that edge, right along that edge, and across here. Now, smooth it out with the glue gun so that it's not any bulkiness. Take the point right here and right here. Then you want to fold that down and fold that down and then fold that over like that, just like that. Alright, so now once you have that done, you want to trim off anything that's hanging over the bottom, like that. And then you can trim out some of that fabric that's left over right there in the middle if you don't want it there. Take your hot glue, go straight along this edge, make sure you smear it thin, don't burn yourself with it. Rest that gently across there. And be careful not to burn yourself. Once you have that there, then you want to apply some glue right to the back of it. Okay, just right along here. And then fold it over gently. Don't press it, but hold it till it dries. Alright, again, you're going to do the same thing here. And across here. Smooth it out. And then fold it over. Okay, so for the back cushions, you're going to do that the same way, and you're going to cut the fabric the same as we did for here and tuck it in like a box and then fold it over. If you need to see that tutorial on how to do that, go back to the chair tutorial for this, and it'll show you how that is. Or you can go to the ottoman because I folded them the same way. Alright, so now you have your fabric. Alright, you need to make sure that you have this side completely covered with the fabric. You can't have a seam over there. And you can have your seam over here. Now you need to decide if you want your seam to face forward or if you want your seam to face backwards. I like it where it's facing like this, because then the naked eye looks right past it going that way. Okay, so once you have it set to where you need it to go with your seam, you want to go ahead and take a little bit of hot glue, not a lot, because you just want it very, very thin, and you want it displayed right there. Okay, you can also use tacky glue, which I normally do, but I want to put some hot glue on there because this has got that chair back with the arm. So just go ahead and add that like that. You can add a little bit of tacky glue too. You can just kind of go just right along there and then press it down just lightly. Don't put an increase into it though. Okay? You can also add a little bit of tacky glue on this side of it. This just helps with the bulkiness because you don't want it to be bulky. Okay, very lightly pull your fabric and go right there. Okay, now once you have that done, then you can determine where you want your seam and cut it straight up. Just like that. And I'm going to actually take a little bit of this glue and I'm going to place it right along this edge, but I'm doing it extremely thin. And I'm using the tip of the gun to smooth it out to where I don't have that bulkiness. And then I'm just going to lightly press it there. Don't put pressure on it because then otherwise it'll be a problem. Alright, now at this point you need to go to your corner and you need to cut down to the corner. Okay, on this side here, hopefully you can see this, I'm going to go on an angle and I'm going to cut that like that. Okay, now the reason I did that is because we need to cover this front piece here. And there's no real way to do that, all right, unless you do that. All right, now I'm going to cut a piece of this off. I'm going to take this, and I'm going to cut that off. All right, and then I'm going to go to the corner of that one, just like that, same way we just did the other one. And you can cut this inner lip down too. You don't really need that there. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and put some glue right along here. Press that right in there, just like that. Normally I start with the bottom first, but I don't know, for some reason I started with the top, so we're going to just start with the top. Right, fold that over. Now for this piece here, how that is, you can take your scissors and you can cut that at a 45 straight down the middle, and then press that down on the top so that glue will secure that. Alright, and then take this section and cut that off of there. Now this is a very tricky part. You have to cut this on an angle, but not so much that it's not going to cover the part that you need. So I kind of went like almost like a S a little bit. Alright, and for this I'm just going to go ahead and fold this back, and I'm going to apply some glue right here, very thin. Very, very thin. It's barely even going to like be there, but it's enough that it's going to take that piece there and cover it. Okay, now I'm going to take this and I'm going to cut that right there and cut that out as a triangle. I'm going to glue that piece down. Okay, make sure you're keeping that edge the way it is, and be careful because that glue does get hot. Now for this piece here, I'm going to fold that over, and I'm going to add a thin strip of glue right there, keeping my edge square. Don't pull it tight to where it ends up messing that up. Alright, and then I'm going to take my thin scissors that I have. They're micro tip scissors. After I have that like that, just like that. Do you see how that is? I'm going to cut that corner off. I'm also going to take and put a little glue in this corner where we have this cut. And then I'm going to hold it there for a second, let the coolness of the scissors cool it off. Okay, now that should look flat like that when you bring it around, alright? So the next step would be to take and glue this piece here. Now this is the first time I'm doing this so far, so if there's a different way that you think is easier, let me know. You know, I mean, so far this is what I've come up with, and it seems to work, so that's what I'm doing. Alright, now I'm going to cut that off just like that. Alright, now this piece here we want to get folded in just a little bit. Okay, so now right here at the top, when you've cut that like a box top, you want to apply a little bit of glue. Fold that over, but remember, don't pull it. Okay? You want to glue this side here. Fold that over, let it cool off. Okay, and then put glue right along the inside. I hope you guys can see this. Okay, and then just kind of fold that in there like that. Now, obviously you don't need all this wasted material here, so we can cut some of that off of there. That. If you want to make it neater, you can always take a box knife and you can go down the fabric and then remove it. It's up to you. I mean, it's not going to be seen, so I don't really care what it looks like underneath because I'm going to cover it anyway. Alright, so take your microtip scissors, cut right here. And then glue this flap down. Just like that. If it's overhanging any, you don't want that, so you need to cut that off. And as long as this is covered, that's the only reason why we fold that in. Just to hide that seam, so it looks like it's a stitch seam. Alright, so at this point, now you want to go ahead and put some glue right here. And then right along here. Make sure you thin that out though, because you don't want it bulky. Alright, so at this point, I'm going to take this and I'm going to trim it at a 45. And then the edge, I'm going to trim like that. You need microtip scissors for this, otherwise it's not going to work because it's going to be cutting in too deep. Okay, so now we want to put some glue right along here. You don't want that to be thick. And then put it right along the edge here. You need to make sure you're smoothing that out. Pull that down. Nice and neat. Take your scissors or butter knife or whatever and hold that down in that crease. Try not to get glue on there like I just did. If you pull it out too soon, that'll happen, but luckily the cushion will cover that. Okay, so now you have to trim up this excess here. So it's not seen. Also, you want to take this piece here and you want to cut it to a 45. That way you don't see that at the beginning of the sofa. Okay, and this here, you can trim that back. Just a little bit. Alright, now for this flap, I'm gonna just glue it down, but you can cut it off if you like. Take this here, trim that over there. You don't want anything sticking up like that was. Alright, so that should give you the one side of the cushion. Now, flip it over. You want to bring your microtip scissors to the point of each one of these. Alright, now you just want to put some glue right along here. Fold that in. Now this one isn't as long because it has the two pieces, but that's okay because it doesn't actually need to be inside here. Fold the sides in first. And then when you get to the side that's here, you want to snip that. Cut that off. And cut that off. Okay, take some glue, apply it on the inside, and fold that inward. Alright, now you can go back over here Apply a little bit of glue on the corner, not a lot. Fold that down. Now, at this point, before it dries, cut that corner at a 45, just like this. And then you want to cut your fabric, if it's not already fitting in there, to fit right along here. At this point, you can glue this down or you can just cut this off. It's up to you. If you glue it down, just put a thin bead of glue right there. Be sure not to use your finger because it's going to be a very thin piece of fabric and I don't want you to get burnt. Okay. So now you want to go ahead and go do the same thing to the other side. Just like this. It's kind of repetitive once you put one of these together, but I'll give you the tutorial for all of them just in case you get a little confused with the different sections that have the arms and stuff. Alright, so now you got all these little scraps, sit them on the side. You can use them for something else later, maybe for pillows, whatever. Take your seat cushion, determine which way you want to put it to be facing, like this, or if you want it to be facing like that. Hopefully it's straight for you. Alright, and then you want to go ahead and glue it down. Okay, only put a little bit of glue on the edge because you don't want that glue to come out. You want to everything you just put together neatly. Alright, so then it looks like that so far. Next step is to take your two pieces here, and I'm just going to go ahead and put the glue all the way across the back because I've already done this a couple times, so with the other section, so I'm knowing how I'm going to do it. I'm going to put that piece in here, and then this piece is going to go here. Now, when you're doing this one, you're going to have to push this one over a little bit because the arm, or you need to cut this one just a smidge bit smaller. Alright, hold it up next to your other chair to make sure that you have your little pieces lined up. Lower them or raise them, whatever you want to do to get them even. But as you can see, the sectional is starting to come together. Okay, now if you don't plan on moving them, what I would do is I would put a thin clamp here to keep them together. Okay, so this clamp is too small for clipping two of them together. You could clip one, but not two. But they sell bigger ones like this. So if you don't plan on moving it, you can take the bigger one of this and clip it together like that. And then that'll hold it together. Or you can just sit them side by side and you don't have to clip them at all. Just like that. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and start the next one, which will be the corner one, the corner section. So check out the next tutorial for that. Okay guys, thanks for watching, and don't forget to follow Dollhouse Miniature Madness and Tutorials.com. Also, check us out on Facebook, Dollhouse Miniature Madness and Tutorials, and on YouTube. Like and subscribe to the channel because we post videos all the time. And leave a comment, question, or suggestion because we love hearing from you. And if you like Pinterest, we have tons of pins on there as well under Laurie Holden Heisler. All right, thanks a lot. Have a great day.